welcome to this month's video. So this month, thank you for my patrons who decided on this month's topic, which is all about my art journey and kind of how I got where I am today. I'm just kind of freeballing this, so I'm sorry if I ramble or don't make any sense. There's just no way that I'm gonna be able to record this without rambling and just talking nonsense to you, so I hope you enjoy that. If you don't, you can just shut me off. I'm gonna be working. If you want to do some work with me and just listen to me some music, you're welcome to do that. There's not gonna be a lot of overlays on the screen, so if you'd rather just listen to me talk, which I don't really understand, but if you would like to, you're more than welcome to. So, alright, let's just dive right into it. So before we get started, just wanted to have a little disclaimer, a little note. So any of the companies or schools I mentioned in this video, I do not represent at all. This is also based on my past experience. Some of the things may have changed at this point. Some of the values or structures of the school or company may be different. So just take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is just solely based on my experience. Okay, let's jump in. And again, thank you to my patrons for choosing this topic, because honestly, I never would have chosen it myself, because I think my journey is a little boring, but I hope that you enjoy it. Okay, so I guess I need to start my journey just kind of at the very beginning of my life, when I was a small baby child. So I started drawing pretty much as soon as I could hold a pencil. My mom was an artist. She still is an artist, and she was my first art teacher, and she just always encouraged me to be creative. So I was always making art growing up, and I always kind of knew I would go into some sort of art field. I wasn't really sure about what I'd be doing, what job I wanted, but I just knew I wanted to do art. And that was kind of solidified, like, I guess 8th grade, I would say. I made a film, and it ended up winning an award, so I thought I wanted to go into film, and my high school had a really good film program, I was really lucky to get into. It was this elective that I just would have like every couple days, every week. And it was really fun, and I would work with the other students, and we would make films together. So a lot of the stories that I wanted to tell, though, I just couldn't get the actual resources that I needed to tell that story. I couldn't get the right actors or the right backgrounds or whatever. So I thought to myself, if I can't get the actors, I'll just make them instead. And that's kind of how I started doing stop motion animation. And stop motion animation is really how I started my whole journey with animation. I just started making these short little films, just these very silly skits. I think they're still on the internet. If you like look up my Vimeo, you can still find them, and they're not very good. But they did really just help start my journey as an artist. I also just would enter them in film festivals, and that was really great because I got to meet all these creative people from all over the country and world, even that all loved animation, and we all came together to make these films. It was really amazing to meet these people, and they ended up winning awards, and I was able to meet these amazing people and network, and I just kind of solidified that I wanted to do this. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do film or animation, but I knew I wanted to tell stories, and I loved using animation as a medium to do that. So I pretty much continued this all through high school. I was winning awards. Sorry, I don't want to sound braggy, but that was definitely a big part of my journey too. Just it made me feel like I had some sort of talent there, and I think that's important when you're a young artist. Just feeling like someone saying yes to you is important. And I hope that's what I do for you sometimes, because I really do want you to believe in yourself. And I think sometimes having an external validation is important for that. Not that you should ever need someone to support you like that, but it is always nice having that little extra assurance. So I'm sure that you all can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm 100% sure. But as I was saying, so in my senior year, I really decided that this is what I was going to do, and I applied to a few colleges that were known for both film and animation programs. And the only program for animation that I actually applied to was USC's animation school, which is in their film school. It was funny because I again, not to brag, but I got into every single college I applied to, except for NYU. I was waitlisted there. Pretty much everything else I got into, and it was all for film though. But USC was the one that accepted me for animation. And if you don't know, USC is the University of Southern California. And I just knew that I really wanted to be in Hollywood and really wanted to be around the industry. So I decided to go to USC, and that kind of really just decided that I was going to be in the animation industry rather than the film industry. Both are very intertwined, but they definitely differ in a couple ways. So, but I was on my way to animation. And so I spent the next 4 years there doing animated work. So USC's program was really great because you can kind of make it whatever you want. They have a lot of great electives once you get through your like core classes of like 2D animation, drawing, stuff like that. So once you're in your like second to fourth year, basically all the classes you choose are pretty much your own. And by the way, this is when I was going to school 3 or 4 years ago. It might be different now, but at least for me, it was like you got to really it wasn't really a minor, but you got to choose what you were doing. So I was really trying to focus on like stop motion, but also storyboarding and script writing. That's kind of what I was doing pretty much the last like 2 or 3 years of my schooling there. So all through my college years, I was also interning at a bunch of different places. I think I did like 4 or 5 internships by the time I graduated. I was also working through the engineering school as an animator for PhD students during school for like 2 years out of my school, my college years. And all of that was really great because I got to have really amazing hands-on experience as an animator, as a creative. I got to know what it was like to work with different teams and how to develop a story, how to work with other people, how to network, what recruiters were looking for, what people who have worked in the industry, what their portfolios look like. It was just a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't get just by school alone. So I really encourage anyone to get some hands-on experience, not just school. I think that school is, of course, very helpful and very important, but I think hands-on experience in an industry like animation is one thing that's really going to help you see what the work is going to be like. School and the actual industry can be very different. So I would really encourage you to get as much hands-on experience as you can. And that was really amazing. I got to work at so many great places. But when I got to my senior year, I had my senior project and I was so excited to finally relax for a semester because I had worked really hard. Again, I don't want to sound braggy, but I really had just dug myself into the ground with work for the past 3 years. I was really trying to just get to a job. That was my main goal all through college. I worked and worked and worked. Not in a healthy way. It was very unhealthy, the amount of work I was doing. And so when I got to my senior year and I got to like my second semester senior year, which was in 2020, if you're catching my drift, in January, I was really excited because I had finished my senior project early. I potentially had a job lined up almost. I was like almost there and I had interviews and things and I was just excited to relax. I thought that was going to be my semester of chill and nothing bad could happen. Bad things happened in 2020. A lot of bad things. In hindsight, it really led me to where I am today, but at the time, it felt like the world was ending, and it kind of was a little bit. Back in March, in March of 2020, the school shut down. We went to spring break, and then they told us to not come back. I lived on an on-campus apartment, or off-campus apartment, so I was just kind of stuck there doing online classes. My offer got rescinded for the job because there was a hiring freeze in all of Hollywood, so no one was hiring. I couldn't find any job. I was also in a pretty mentally abusive relationship. I won't go too into that, but it was not great. Yeah, like that whole semester was so bad. And I graduated without a job because of it. And no one was hiring. I couldn't get anyone to write me back or email me. Everyone was, trying to find toilet paper. They didn't care about some college kid who was trying to find their first job. So I was applying and doing freelance jobs on the side that weren't paying enough, and it was just insanity, if you remember what the beginning of COVID was like. But then September rolled around and I got an email back, which I had not gotten in a very long time from a job. It was in Stamford, Connecticut, which is pretty much like down the street from where I grew up, which was odd. And they wanted to, first of all, interview me, and then they also wanted to give me a motion graphics test. This was a motion graphics and video editor job, which was not really my thing. I did not really want to do motion graphics at all. I thought that it was, if I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was lesser than like the narrative animation world, which it's not at all now that I work in it. But my teachers had kind of led me to believe that. They were a little elitist when it came to narrative animation. But I just needed a job so badly. So I said, yes, I will take your test. And they were like, okay, great. You need After Effects. And I was like, so at the time I had opened After Effects once for like a workshop and I never had opened it since. I did not like the interface. I did not understand how it worked. There were so many buttons and it was terrifying to me. So like any sane person who was given an After Effects test, I said, yep, I will have that ready for you tomorrow. And so I spent the entire night learning After Effects for this job. And I took their test and I finished it. Looking back, it was awful, but I did finish it. I did learn enough to finish this test. So I sent it back to them, and a couple days, a week later, I got an offer. So I packed up some of my stuff from my apartment in LA and moved back home. And I was really lucky to have parents who welcomed me back home, and I was able to stay with them, and just really grateful to them for giving me that opportunity. So I was able to live there for about a year. I was working at a finance company, which again is not what I thought I'd be doing, but COVID kind of switched everything around. That was a major, I think I didn't hit home enough about how major COVID was as a turning point in my career. I would not be doing what I do now without COVID. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just, it was not what I thought I'd be doing at all. So for this job, I was working at a finance company and I was helping to do motion graphics and animation for them. And I really was I was really loving what I was doing. I didn't really love the content so much, but I loved After Effects and Premiere Pro and just using these tools to create linear stories that were almost more documentary style, but they still had a narrative to them. And I think my skills that I had learned in the past really lended well to what I was working on. And I was still very creative. I had a lot of creative control in this job, and it really gave me the opportunity to learn how to animate properly, how to work on a team that I didn't have any idea what I was doing, but how to learn and adapt quickly. That was very helpful for me later. It taught me a lot, that job, but I did know that it was not exactly the right job for me. And from there, I ended up job hopping a lot. I knew that job hopping was something I was probably going to do anyway, just because I've talked about this plenty of times on my channel and my Instagram and TikTok and whatever else. Job hopping is a really great way to increase your skill level. It's a great way to get more money, more benefits. It's probably the fastest way that you can improve in your career. I hadn't expected to do about 4 jobs in 3 years. That was a little fast for job hopping. Usually people don't go that fast. But it just ended up that way because a lot of recruiters reached out to me, and when the opportunity seemed like something that was going to be helpful or a learning opportunity, I took it. I just grabbed it and ran. So now I am in Chicago. I really love the city. I've switched jobs about 3 times since then, but I've worked in advertising and now I'm in education, and I worked on so many cool projects with so many great teams. And I'm just really grateful for all the opportunities I've had over the last couple of years. I'm also just really grateful to my family, who has always supported me throughout my entire creative journey. They never tried to sway me away from being creative or choosing a career that was creative. They never tried to make me choose something that was more stable. They just made sure that I was very sure of myself, and I think that's important too. Yeah, just really grateful to them. Grateful to you for listening to me ramble on about all this chaos. But yeah, that's probably a very condensed version of my journey to where I am as an animator today. I work as a full-time motion graphics designer and also a freelance animator on the side. And it's been really fun. This journey's been really amazing. Just want to acknowledge how lucky and privileged I am to have the education and resources to get here. I know that not everyone has that opportunity, but I just wanted to express my gratitude for all of that. And I know the world is really crazy right now, so I'm grateful to you just being here and being part of this community. I really enjoy the community we have, so I hope you do too. And that's it. That's my journey. I don't want it to get too long or too boring. I know that my journey is probably not the most exciting, honestly, but it's been mine, and I wanted to share it with you. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye. Keep creating.